In this lesson, we will start with the introduction of delta live tables and their advantages. We will see in detail about the expectations feature, which enables data quality and error handling in delta live tables. Next, we will go through the type of delta live datasets. Finally, we will see the examples of creating streaming live table and the materialized view. So let's start. What is a delta live table? Delta live tables is a declarative framework for building reliable, maintainable, and testable data processing pipelines. You define the transformations to perform on your data, and delta live tables manages task orchestration, cluster management, monitoring, data quality, and error handling. Let us discuss these advantages of delta live tables in detail. Task orchestration. Instead of defining your data pipelines using a series of separate Apache Spark tasks, you define streaming tables and materialized views that the system should create and keep up to date. Delta Live Tables manages how your data is transformed based on your queries you define for each processing step. DLT will automatically identify and separate tasks from the notebook and generate the graphs. Troubleshooting and recovery. Delta Live tables can deal with intermittent errors and recover from typical error scenarios during the pipeline execution. Monitoring. Delta Live tables analyzes the status of the entire pipeline system visually and keeps track of performance, quality, status, latency, and other factors using a data flow graph dashboard. This enables you to monitor data trends over time to analyze pipeline activity and performance constraints. You can also enforce data quality with delta live table expectations, which allow you to define expected data quality and specify how to handle records that fail those expectations. We will be discussing the expectations in detail in the next slide. A note to mention that unlike the notebooks, we are unable to mix and match languages, for example Python and SQL, in the DLT notebook. What are delta live table expectations? Expectations are optional clauses that you add to delta live tables dataset declarations that apply data quality checks on each record passing through a query. This is the syntax, high level syntax of the delta live table expectation. It consists of three things: description, boolean condition, and the action. A description which acts as a unique identifier and allows you to track metrics for the constraint. A boolean statement that always returns true or false based on some stated condition. An action to take when a record fails the expectation, meaning the boolean returns false. The action could be of three types: warning, drop, or fail. Warning is the default type of action, in which invalid records are returned to the target. Failure is reported as a metric for the dataset. In case of drop, invalid records are dropped before data is returned to the target. Failure is reported as metrics for the dataset. In case of fail action, invalid records prevent the update from succeeding, so the pipeline will fail. Manual intervention is required before reprocessing. Next is the delta live table datasets. Delta live table datasets are the streaming tables, materialized views, and views maintained as a result of declarative queries. A streaming table is a delta table with extra support for streaming or incremental data processing. A streaming table allows you to process a growing data set, handling each row only once. Because most datasets grow continuously over time, streaming tables are good for most ingestion workloads. Streaming tables are designed for data sources that are append only. Use cases for a streaming table could be a bronze table that receives streaming data from cloud files. All views in Databricks compute results from source datasets as they are queried. Views are useful as intermediate queries that should not be exposed to end users or system. DLT does not publish views to catalog, so views can be referenced only within the pipeline in which they are defined. Use cases for views could be silver layer views that contain interim transformations. The last is the materialized view or the live tables. This is a view where the results have been pre-computed. Materialized view should be used for data sources with updates, deletions or aggregations and for CDC. Let us see the example of creating a streaming live table and a streaming table as well. In the first example, we are creating a streaming live table. The syntax is create or refresh streaming live table, table name as select star from. Here we are using autoloader cloud function to read customers data from the Databricks datasets into a table named customers bronze. So this is the streaming data we are reading and creating a streaming live table. In the second example, we are creating a streaming silver table over streaming customer bronze table. Note that we are using stream keyword to specify that we are reading from a streaming table, and we are using live keyword to specify that we are reading from a table that was created within DLT notebook itself. The last is creating materialized view or the live tables. The syntax is create or refresh live tables. The table name, select star from the path. So in the first example, we are taking a JSON file as an input source from Databricks datasets, which is a source, external source to the DLT notebook. Since this is external, we are not using any live keyword when reading from the data source. In the second example, we are reading from an internal data. So we are using the live keyword. Live is a virtual schema that contains the DLT notebook datasets. Let us see these in practical in the next lesson. Thank you.